Hello, I am Mominul Islam. Here is my national ID. So I am going to talk about market and economics presentations. So how I pick the scenario 3. After Brexit, the EU tariff on Chinese bicycle will be excluded or exempted. So which mitigation policies government should take for the domestic producers and overall welfare of UK? So first, we talk about the overall market revenue of bicycle in UK. In 2019, overall market revenue was 1.08 billion. In 2021, it increased to 1.72 billion, and 2022 1.36, and after that its forecast is 1.3 to 1.2 billion. Second, how much of this share is taken by Brampton? In 2019, Brampton's overall annual revenue was 42 million, 2020 57 million, and 2021 it's 76 million. So, how much bicycles imported by UK? UK basically a very innovative bicycles producer. Traditional, they provide very high quality, high value bicycles. The domestic suppliers ensure 65 to 75% market, and another 30 to 35% imported from Southeast Asia or some others EU countries. But in EU, Chinese bicycles have a very high 48.5% anti-dumping duty. So after Brexit, this anti-dumping duty will not be there in UK. So it will be very much harmful for domestic producers because they have to compete with very low priced Chinese bicycles. So what are the mitigation options for this? There are mainly three mitigation options. One is import tariff, second is import quota, third domestic subsidy, and in combinations of three. I will discuss here the welfare implications of these three mitigation options. First, import tariff. So just think about the current situations when there is a tariff. So free market price will be FT, and the consumer price for UK will be PT with tariff. So let me see, the consumer surplus will be equivalent to area A and B. Producer surplus will be area C and D, and government will get a revenue from tariff, which will be E. So overall national welfare will be the equivalent of these five areas. First, let's think tariff is removed. So market price will be the free trade price, which is PFT. So consumer surplus will be increased by A, B, C, E, F, G equivalent, and producer surplus will be D. There will be no government revenue. So finally, if we compare after removing tariff, overall national welfare increased equivalent area F and G. So as with tariff, price increased, so consumers are also producer gain in terms of producer surplus. The government receives a revenue, which is a source of fund for a government, and government can utilize this fund to help diverse spending programs, and overall national welfare will fall. Second one is import quota. Sometimes government impose some quota on imported goods. So how this impact? If there is a free trade, overall import will be DFT minus SFT quantity, but government impose a quota DQ minus SQ. So overall market price will increase to PQ and domestic supply increases FT to SQ. And finally, if we think about the world change of welfare, so consumer surplus reduced by area A, B, C, D, producer gets surplus A, and quota rent is C, and national welfare will reduced by area B and D. So as with quota price increased, consumers are worse off again, producer get uh, because of higher prices, and the quota rent can be received by government or some government agencies which is nominated by government, but it can be the exporting country. And finally, overall welfare will be decreased because of import quota. And third one is production subsidy. Sometimes government provides subsidy to domestic producers to increase their business or promote new businesses or sometime for the survival. So with the subsidy, basically consumers are not affected because price don't change. So price will be the free market price, but as producer gets some subsidy, so their producer price will increase with PP. So producer supply increases and import decreases. So finally, producers get gain and government pay the subsidy. And for these subsidizations, higher taxes may be applied. And final and national welfare will be reduced by area B. Sometimes government impose some policy combinations of these three mitigations options. Here I'm discussing about a policy which can be a combination of subsidy and tariff. So in this case, government earns from tariff and spend on subsidy. So and market price will be PT, which is higher than free trade price. So consumers are worse off. Producers gain in terms of producer surplus. Government pay subsidy and unpaid tariff. And if you compare between subsidy and tariff, then which is better? This each depend on the area of E and F. If area E is greater than F, then subsidy, this policy is better. But if this area is less than or F less than E, or F greater than F greater than E, then this policy will produce less welfare. So final, what we have to do? Considering overall national welfare, free trade will be the best. But at the same time, government have to support domestic manufacturers in this race. So between quota and tariff, sometimes quota is good, sometimes tariff is. When domestic demand increase, in that case, quota plays positive role. But when domestic supply increase, in that case, tariff plays important role. But finally, if we summarize, tariff is more protective in the force of import volume decrease, and quota is more protective in the force of import volume increase. Considering domestic and international market condition, fixing octroi tariff is important to maximize welfare as well as protecting domestic industry. And sometimes combination of domestic production subsidy and tariff on import can play an important role to balance international trade, protecting domestic industry, and reasonable market price of goods. Thank you. This is all about the market and economics presentations.